some cartoons and vodka and do them all night long. Are you ready for some fun? Drink 'em down, drink 'em down, drink 'em down. Drink 'em down, drink 'em down, drink 'em down. Oh.
It feels good to use that intro again. And I'm sorry it's been so long since the last questionable content video, but 2020 has been a year. Thankfully, Jeff has been safely ensconced in one of the better parts of Canada, so the comic is still safe and going, and also, we are about to get into some proper iconic moments for questionable content, so let's go to space! But first, back on Earth, Momo just got a brand new chassis. It's more human standard this time, but it's cute and pink and lets Momo express some more of the frustration she's been feeling with Marigold and especially Pint Size. It was a little expensive, so Momo goes out looking for employment to pay it back. She gets hired real quick at the library since Ty has lots of hiring discretion. Martin takes Momo with him to that bakery he visited while in Coffee of Doom exile, where Momo meets Sam, the daughter of bakery owner Jim. Sam tries to gatekeep Momo's Pokemon knowledge, but being roomies with Marigold has benefits. For the record, Pokemon 721 is Volcanion, and the count now is 893. Time keeps on slipping. Well, now Momo and Sam are like best friends, and they are going to go hunting for snakes in the hills tomorrow. Padme asks if Martin wants to come, since she and bakery big boy Elliot are going to be Sam's adult supervision. So hell yeah, Martin has a low-stakes outing with a girl he's kinda crushing on. The trip into the hills is a hell of a visual swing for the series. Jeff apparently had a lot of fun drawing all that foliage. There's also this delightful page of Sam tumbling down a hill after a snaky. It was a fun time, but afterward, Elliot drags away Martin to his doom. Doom in this case being extremely awkward public weeping. Elliot has a bit of a crush on Padme, but she's apparently gotta move out to California soon to take care of her grandma. Not really sure how Martin ended up being the one to recommend someone be less passive, but yeah, he recommends telling Padme, if for no other reason than to get it off Elliot's chest. Which, it doesn't go well. Padme isn't into him like that, so now work is gonna be awkward for a bit. But Padme is nothing if not fond of distractions and asks Martin if he'd like to go dancing. Yes, please! Unbelievable, super cool, outrageous, and amazing, phenomenal, fantastic, so incredible, woohoo! Steve's rightfully mad at Martin for being upset that he got invited dancing by a girl he's interested in just because he's bad at dancing. Martin calls in Hannelore and Faye as backup, but Faye has been drinking. Earlier in the day, Angus went into the city for some work and called out that he loved her while boarding the train. She said it back and then had an anxiety attack which she fought with bourbon. She tries to power through it for Martin, but is not nearly sober enough to survive Padme's attack. I still don't know why they do this. Okay, so something unbelievable is about to happen. I want you to prepare yourself for this one. Padme sleeps with Martin. Okay, people, this is not a drill. Apparently, Martin has a certain amount of charm to him. For the sake of time, I kind of have to speed through this, but they get emotionally entangled, which is really not what Padme needed when she's about to move, and Martin fucks up. He handles this really badly because of his anxiety about fucking it up, ironically. He refuses to see Padme off on her last day, and it's just a bad way to end this all around. But just in time to get him out of his funk, Hannelore's dad is having a birthday party, and she's gonna bring Marigold and Martin along since they are her best friends. Oh yeah, don't forget that Hannelore's dad lives on a space station! So yes, they all get on the spaceship and head up to the space station. They get greeted by the onboard AI named Station. He waved them right by Lieutenant Potter's security check, and when she tries to insist on doing her job, Station projects some compromising photos from her graduation party. I think that qualifies Station to go on my list of evil AI overlords. Hannelore rightfully calls him out for this harassment. He kinda goes overboard on the apology though, giving Potter some stock options worth $5 million. She turns it down on principle, which was not easy to do. We get to learn a bit more about Hannelore on this trip. Apparently in her youth, her OCD and phobias were way worse. Her panic attacks would get so bad that she had to be physically restrained. Basically, the only one who could reach her was Station, which I guess was because being a hologram didn't trigger her neuroses. We also get to meet Hannelore's dad. He's clearly a flighty genius, but not in a way I think really maps onto your typical inventor tropes. He forgot that he was going to be his birthday, but he's also emotionally capable in a way that makes him nothing like a Tesla. He genuinely cares about his daughter's happiness living down on Earth, though his method of learning about it is absurdly nerdy. Marigold meets an adorkable scientist boy at the birthday bash. She has absolutely no idea how to talk to him, but he writes a lovely message on her DS's PictoChat. Martin tries to get himself space kisses with Lieutenant Potter, but instead gets some solid life advice and decides he should try apologizing to Padme. Hannelore got something really special for her dad's birthday. She gives him the very first hug she's given him since she was a baby. But wildly, that's not the most emotionally intense event for Hannelore that evening. No, that comes when Station asks if Hannelore will agree to stay here during a candlelit dinner. Station never thought that Hannelore's trip down to Earth would lead to her living there permanently, and he is literally a space station. He can't go down for a burrito date. Hannelore is understanding of her friend's loneliness, but she has friends and a life down on Earth. They spend the night watching cloud formations. That barely even scratched all the cool things that happened while they were up in the space station, but I'm not even halfway through this section. We've still got a lot to get to. Questionable content is a delight. Okay, back down on Earth, Jim is going on a date and needs a last-minute babysitter, so Sam gets to spend time at the coffee shop. Faye immediately takes Sam under her wing and teaches her how to sharpen knives and weld war ladles. For a tomboy like Sam, this is of course the best thing ever. Jim is less thrilled, but she also learned how to make an old-fashioned, so Faye gets paid extra. Also, apparently his date went pretty bad since he's back early. Back at the library, Ty just got some interns! Okay, so this is Emily, Gabby, and Claire. They're doing a library internship and Ty is high as hell, so Martin gets to train them. He is entirely underqualified for this job, but he has been doing it for a while and actually does some solid training, which gives him a crippling case of job satisfaction. So Claire is just straight up my favorite character in the whole series, and her cute face is finally here. Also, Emily is here, and she is just absurdly funny. Gabby, I'm sorry to say, does not last as a character. Do not get attached. Claire is a great straight woman for the cast. She's really earnestly trying to be a good librarian after graduating and takes this internship very seriously, so she flusters easily. Emily is weird. Like, in a bunch of ways. Just as an example, she asks Momo if she can store sweet rolls in her arms, and Momo offers to introduce her to Marigold if she likes anime that much. Emily does not know what anime is. She was not making a Nichijou reference, she just thought mechanical arms would be a good place to store sweet rolls. After work, Ty comes over to Martin's place for a hangout, and when she hears that Dora is coming, she gets her game face on. Somehow, even though she has been drinking, she has the mental faculties to suggest that Dora walk her home, so Dora has time to sober up for the drive home, which is some drunken master maneuvering. And she basically confesses her feelings to a truly gobsmacked Dora. In the morning, the tequila monster is visiting Ty. Martin assumes sleeping in was code for hooked up with Dora, so the trip to the coffee shop is a little awkward. After catching up with Ty, Ty tells Martin she's sick of waiting and is gonna go confess.
Confess! Confess! Confess!
It goes well. Ty is crazy into Dora, and Dora likes being pursued for a change. Their first date is a little awkward, but mostly because Ty is trying way too hard. After the date, she comes to Martin for advice, which he's actually good at because hindsight is 20/20. Ty also tells him that his friend circle is basically her only close friends. All her college friends are more like hookups. Speaking of friends, Emily invites Martin and the rest of the library staff to come to her parents' lake house for a fun evening and tells Martin to invite all his friends. He warns her that he has a lot of friends, but I guess it's a big lake house. Most of the cast are along for this adventure. I think the only people we are missing are Penelope, Sven, and Pint Size. Even Clinton gets to come, because it turns out he is Claire's younger brother. It's a grand old time at the lake house. People go swimming, Hannelore gets a tan, and there is irresponsible drinking. Oh, also Claire comes out to Martin as trans. Okay, so this was something that Jeff was planning for a while, and he clearly did his research. Claire doesn't tell everyone, she just tells Martin, the friend nexus of this group, and asks him to be quietly honest about it. Claire is going to continue being trans and happy in this universe for the foreseeable future, and I am all about that. We even get to see Clinton pull out his protective brother act. We get even more Claire action with Martin's dad's wedding. Yeah, you forgot about that, and so did Martin. He didn't miss the wedding, but he sure cut it close. He was gonna have Hannelore drive him down, but somehow our resident germaphobe got sick, so Claire offers to drive him down. This story turns into more of a showcase for Martin's mom, who's gone a bit manic. She's more than fine with Henry getting married, but it really draws into focus how she's divorced and single in her 50s. I think she's being a bit of a drama queen, but I do get why it would be hard to meet someone new in the fetish model dominatrix scene. But yeah, the wedding goes well with a short ceremony and a nice long after party. Afterwards, Claire and Martin stumble back into the hotel room drunk and fall asleep on the same bed. Jeff, you tease. Okay, we are just about done with major events for this video, but there are a couple things to hit. First off, Angus has got an audition to be a writer for a comedy late night show in, I assume, New York City. Right now it's just an audition, but it's something he'd much rather be doing, even though it would require him to move. This is pretty stressful for Faye, but right now it's all hypothetical. Dale is apparently sick to death of delivering pizzas and smelling like pizza and his car smelling like pizza, so he asked for a job at Coffee of Doom, and his resume is impressive. Also, he's made some inroads with becoming Marigold's friend. She is still way too standoffish, but Momo is trying. Oh, and as a teaser for next time, Dale wakes up to find an anime-made AI installed in his smart glasses. Oh, that's why his glasses glowed. I just thought they were hella reflective. This section was hella packed with some major plot lines, so I didn't really skip over much in terms of side character stuff. Apparently, people were bugging Jeff about what Steve was up to, so he threw in a gag comic where Steve just eats a bowl of cereal. There's also a joke lady who wanders around town dressed as a fairy. There's nothing deep to this character, but they do have a habit of popping up in the comic later on. There's also a solid amount of expounding on the status of AIs and their place in this world, mostly in discussions with Momo. We also get a bit more insight into Pint Size, who's generally chill with his reduced role in Martin's life. Oh, and I would feel bad if I completely skipped over a character Sam created. During one of her trips to the coffee shop, she dons a skull mask and becomes Skullmaster, Master of Skulls! Another video vanquished by Skullmaster, Master of Skulls! Till next time, I'm Skullmaster, and this has been Skullland!